All right, now after last week's Jets and Broncos game, I do want to personally apologize on behalf of the United States to London and the fans there. Anyone who that might have been their first exposure to American football. Uh, that is not what American football is supposed to look like. But we might actually see a good London game this week because we've got the Los Angeles Rams, been one of the best teams in the league, going up against one of the surprise teams so far in the league in the Jacksonville Jaguars, coming off a loss, obviously, to Seattle, where, somewhat the Jags were brought back down to earth. Both teams looking here kind of at a fork in the road in their season in terms of this is a pretty important game that both teams got to have. Christian, what are your thoughts on this one right off the bat?
Well, it's going to be a tough game. I think Jacksonville is a team of London. Naturally, I would consider this basically a semi-home game for them. I'd give them the advantage. I think the Rams are coming from New York or Baltimore, so easy flight. Travel shouldn't be too bad for either team. But so far, I mean, honestly, I liked what I saw from Jacksonville in pieces. Obviously, Brian Thomas with the dropped issue seems to be coming up again. A recurring issue this year. It feels like it's going to be. But again, love what they've done with Travis Hunter to date. But I do feel like last week was definitely a game where Liam Cohen could have used Travis Cohen perhaps defensively the entirety of the game, and they probably had a chance at winning that game. I think there's nobody on that roster that would have done a better job of handling Smith and Jigba the entire course of the game. And I think this is almost the downfall of playing Travis both ways is he can be great on both sides of the ball, but in this case, I think being that cornerback one that we all naturally thought he could be coming out of college is exactly what they needed this week. And they just didn't get it because they didn't play him. And I feel like had he played over Monarch Brown, maybe things change. So we'll see how Liam Cohen continues to use him. Obviously, it's a once in a lifetime opportunity for him to try and use this guy week to week. So we'll see. I thought he failed last week. I think they could have won that game if he was CB1 the whole game. But beyond that point, I thought they were able to do some good things offensively. Ultimately, the Rams didn't look too good against a really beaten up Baltimore Ravens team. So I'm going to go with Jacksonville. I just think they're kind of more fluid or more in the zone, if you will. Coming off of two really, really tough matchups and really good matchups. I thought they played well. So I'm going to take them this week. I think the Rams are looking kind of sluggish heading into that bye. I think they dropped this one.
Mike or Turtle, either of you got the Rams in this one to offer an opposing view, or we or
I got the Jags. I mean, just based off. I mean, this is a team going back to London for the nth time in how many years. And the Jags defense, as you mentioned, Christian, has looked really good. Hold on, I have my notes up here in 2 seconds. So yeah, no, I mean, I think what's been happening a little bit, I'd like to see, a little bit less pressure on Trevor Lawrence to be able to, see some plays develop down the field. He's already thrown multiple interceptions this game, but here's a kicker. I think Liam Cohen is somebody who already kind of has a bit of a insight into the Sean McVay, play calling, what he might be doing. Someone able to counter that. The Jags defense has looked fantastic this year. I expect Travis Hunter to actually have a big game on this side, in this game, on both sides of the ball. Jags O-line has been giving up pressure. I don't expect the Rams defensive line to be throwing that pressure as much as has been in the past. Give me the Jags in this one.
Yeah, I also like Jacksonville. The one thing that gives me pause for Jacksonville is Devin Lloyd won't travel to London, and I know that's a big piece there front seven on defense. But look, I just think the spot and honestly the Rams the last couple of weeks have been disappointing just as far as the eye tests and how they've managed to for some reason not execute on special teams is kind of an anomaly when what you would think of with the Sean McVay coach team, but. Um, I just think that the Rams have kind of lost steam. It doesn't seem like Puka's going to play, um, and that's a big loss for this offense. And it should look the Jags are used to this travel situation. They've been going to London for a long time. Um, I think that sets up. It's going to be 2 weeks away from home for the Rams. I know they stayed in Baltimore and traveled from the East Coast. It makes things a little bit easier than traveling from the West Coast, but it's still a long time to be away from home. I think that they're kind of a team that's probably content with going to the bye with where they're at, maybe a little bit lackadaisical. I think there's value on the Jags being underdogs here. And what one would think is graded as a neutral site game, but I'm sure the market's well aware of how good the Jags are in London or how frequently they travel to London, so to speak. And yet that line is sitting at +3 still. And I just think that the Jags have some value on them. So I'm on Jacksonville, and I think that's really the only way I can look. I don't feel comfortable laying 3 with the Rams, just given their health and travel situation.
And one more thing on the Jags, Jordan Lewis and Greg Newsome have looked really good this year, and there's going to be no Puka Nakua likely this game.
Yeah, yeah, I mentioned the Puka.
Yeah, I mean, I think obviously the Puka Nakua determination is huge. It's looking like he's not going to play. But I am going to go with the Rams in this one. I think for the Jaguars, they've been consistently inconsistent throughout this season. You've seen flashes. They're kind of a roller coaster of a team. And if that holds true, then maybe they come up big. But I'll go with when you're talking about a team that is still, finding its identity, playing under a new head coach. Trevor Lawrence has not shown you that he's can consistently play at a high level week to week. And he's still going up against a future Hall of Famer, in my opinion, in Matthew Stafford and one of the best coaches in the league in Sean McVay. Along with that defense with a couple of great pieces, namely Byron Young with 7.5 sacks this year. I'll go with the Rams. This is a tough one to pick, but I think I'll go against the grain here. And trust that McVay and staff are going to get it figured out. But you have to give a lot of respect to what Liam Cohen's been able to do thus far in his tenure. So not taking anything away from that. But give me the Rams. Devontae Adams is still he's still Devontae Adams. So we'll see what comes of a Puka-less offense. They've obviously relied on him a ton. It's one of the reasons that offense has been successful. But I also think that Matthew Stafford deserves his credit, and Devontae Adams is about as good of a number 2 as you can ask for. But what was your question, Turtle?
I was going to say I think Tutu Atwell's banged up too. So again, it might be a Jordan Whittington show with Devontae Adams. Seems I don't know how
I
deep
think
that
even
depth goes.
Kanata was getting a lot of reps last week too.
Yeah, so I don't know. I at this point, like I'm just shocked the line's the way it is. Like I don't think a Puka-less Rams team is 3 points better on a neutral field than the Jags right now.
I think Josh Hines Allen could really make some hay this week. No Havenstein, or he's questionable at least. And I don't know what that left tackle position has been doing. I know we've talked about the blood clot issue for Alaric for some time, but I haven't really kept up with the left tackle position that closely.